In today's video, I review Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy. Let's take a look.
There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away.
Here I have Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy. This was recently put out from Kickstarter. This is my Kickstarter edition copy, but I believe what we have here is everything that you would normally get if you bought it retail. If we flip it over, we can see the list of all of its components. Its player age range of 14 plus. 2 to 6 players at an average of 25 minutes per player. Now, that is one of the things that you will notice right off the bat with this minimum player count of 2. If you notice, most of the stuff on my channel all has to have a solo option for me to even consider it. So what makes this game so unique that I went in and I looked at it even though the player count was only 2, and that is the build of this game is absolutely fantastic. The style of game is one that I really like, and just the 4X is a system that I enjoy a lot. And the way that they have done it in this game more than makes up for that limitation of not having the solo mode. However, if they were to make a solo for this, this would easily probably make, one of my top 1-2 games, because I really do like it that much. Right off the rip, let's just go ahead and take a look at the box itself. This is a very nice, very sturdy box. Everything about it is very well made. I don't foresee having a problem with this thing anytime soon. And that is that is absolutely fantastic. They didn't go to their trouble of putting any detail, any art on the inside somewhere you're not really going to see, but where they do have art, on all of the gaming materials on the box itself, it is absolutely gorgeous. One of the other things is here within all of its punch tiles, well, all its punch boards, they really went out of their way to make it easy for you to be able to set up this game and get it all going, because not only does it punch really well, you should have absolutely no problems with that. Have absolutely no damage popping these guys out. Just the lightest touch and they come flying out. But if you can see, they also have labeled what everything is. And within the box itself, there is this sheet. And this sheet is going to tell you how to package everything in here, how it all stacks up so it fits in the box neat. It shows all of the trays, where all of the components are that goes in there. Everything is labeled. So if you are looking for, hey, here, number 7, the discovery tiles. Well, what the heck are discovery tiles? Well, while you're punching things out, you'll be able to look through and find, okay, here we go. Let me see. Oh, the discovery tiles. Okay, they were these ones over here or something that I was able to punch through. It really does make it real easy to set this game up. So I really like that a whole lot. So now, speaking of the trays, let's go ahead and move some of this stuff out of our way for right now. The trays that come in with this game are absolutely fantastic. I have found few games, even the ones that use game trays like this one does, that puts everything in so neatly, to where most of these trays, not only are they storage trays, but they are gaming trays. And a lot of the material, a lot of the information that you need for this is actually printed on here. So when you're playing, and this tray right here, for example, is used for research, and as you're getting new things into the world, into the universe, and you're filling the tray, you'll know like the different there's different categories, like the build, engineering, science. So you'll place them in here, and the cost of them are printed right in here, so it makes it real easy for you to put everything in. Additionally, like the turn routes, the turn numbers, they're written right here. They're written both on the inside and on the out. So as you have your turn token in here, you'll be able to see exactly what turn you are on. Everything is very nice, very well made, labeled out. The other nice thing about this is, since you have this tray, as you're filling it out and you're playing around the table, you can easily pick this tray up and pass it around to everybody else playing without worrying about things, spilling out, getting lost or going everywhere because they're in this nice tray. And during a game, that makes it so much easier for the other players to look at what technologies are available. They don't actually have to like get up and walk around and look at this with fear of things falling out, getting out of place, and moving around. So these are absolutely fantastic. Now this one right here has no storage purposes for the game, but it is a gaming tray. And again, the fact that they have this in here is absolutely fantastic. Then they have the one for all of the ship upgrades. And these are, you will first research them, and then once you've researched it, then you can start upgrading and putting them on your ship. And these are then all of those. And once again, this is absolutely fantastic. Everything is in here all neat and tidy. Here on the list, it shows you where to put everything in. So as you're punching these out, you just put them in. The lid itself has these little indents, so everything stays neat, stays tidy. The other thing that they put into consideration is that while this is the core, this is the base game, they knew they made upgrades, they knew they made expansions, which we got through the Kickstarter, that you will be able to buy retail secondhand, but everything is made to be able to fit those. So here, this is one of the new cannons or missiles. I can't remember off the head which one, but so you can put that in there. If you purchase that upgrade, you have a spot to put that in there. And they put all of that into consideration when making this tray, so it works for the game and for the expansions they have. That is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love that. Then we have two trays here for the for all your other components, for your ships that are going to be out there, some little extras, your dice and all this kind of stuff. These are mainly if you have those high player count games. You're really probably only going to need one or two of these. If you're playing, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, so forth and so on. But again, even the layout here is within this. There it is, the layout. One thing to keep in mind that was a little hard to notice, that these right here are our monolith figure tokens, and there are monolith tokens that go in here. They have a spot for those right here. Of course, when you punch them, then to put them in there. It's labeled right here, but that might be one of the parts that you might miss. Like, hey, where do I put these? Right there. There were some extras of these. I haven't really found a great place for those, so I just kind of stuck them here. I'll show you where all the rest of those are here in a second, but those were some extras. And then here with mine, I went ahead and put most of my dice, because I plan on playing it with only like 1, 2, maybe 3 people, or 2, 3 people. So I probably will only need one of these. So I have all of my dice here. So I just have just a couple extra blues and oranges right there. But when I put but there's definitely enough room here so I can put some more from my extra dice in there as well. So that's really nice. The other thing is, in the game they have everything is really thought out. Here you have your little orbital that you can build, and when you do that, it's going to give you another resource in the game. And they have even built this mini to be able to accept your token that you're going to have for you to, put that resource on there. So I mean, even some of the miniatures are made smartly, made well for you to be able to use during the game. And then of course all of these trays have the little locking mechanisms, so things don't come out. That's so awesome, so wonderful. I absolutely love that. Then we have these trays right here. Now there's 8 of them in the game because there are 8 different alien races. And then there's an additional 8 human races where each alien has a human and an alien side. So if a human is chosen, then that kind of alien race is kind of taken out of the game. Now these trays do 2 things for you. The first is they hold all of the components for that alien race. So if we go ahead and open this up, we will see here we have everything in here. So here we have the star bases, your 3 different ship types. We have our ambassador tokens, though these are only used, I think, in 4+ player games. We have here those colony ships. For here, where most only have 3, the green actually has a 4. We have these, which will go around here. I'll show you that here in a second. But we have your home world. We have your action. So every race has their own cheat sheet card. And then we have all of the tokens and everything that you're going to use during the game. Now, when you first get this, these are going to be everywhere. But then once you put everything together, once you put everything in, it does stay in here really well. It doesn't move around. So that is nice. So, from here on out, every time you pull things out, you won't have things all over the place. Now, for the game itself, you can put the lid on, but I leave them separately. So I have this one out to hold all of my stuff, and then this one is my gaming tray. But what you're going to do is you will use this right here to designate how much resources you have. So there are your 4 different kinds: your gold, your technology, and your science, and your production. And so as you're going through, you'll just move these around. And they even made this smart, where here you have the 1 arrow because it's into your 1, so here it's just a 7. But here on the other side, if you go past 39, if you go into the 40s, you would flip it and go over to the other side. To even with a point where this has 4 little arrows, and then of course the number 40 on there. Absolutely fantastic. These trays make playing the game so much easier, so much better, but also storage is absolutely fantastic. Now, I will get more into these trays when I get into the gaming aspect of the review, but the layout and the design of this for gaming purchases is a ingenious thing. I absolutely love that. So here we're going to put that off to the side for now and keep diving into this. And like I said, there are 6 of these, 1 for each of the races. Here we go. And then we have our 2 other bags. Here again is for those technologies. So here we go. Let's pull this guy back out. For this one, so as you are getting new technologies into the universe, it has a nice large bag for you to pull these out and see where it is. Screen 6.4. So turn it. 6.4, 6.4. So there, I know I'm gonna go there. Very nice. Okay, and then here, just for the storage purposes, we have all of our influence tokens. So as you win in battles, you will get influences. Depending how good you do, you'll take a number of these, see what they are, take the highest number, add those to your thing. this works for gameplay as well as storage for these tokens, so that is nice. Then we actually have components for everything. Now these ones right here don't seem to stay in as well. I kind of wish this part was done a little different. I could leave this, is where here this came, to be the insert here to protect this, to protect the space station, or the ancient in the center of the galaxy. The only problem is once I do that, then there's not room to put these in here anymore. So I guess maybe I could cut it, but see, this right here would also lock these down a little better. But again, that then takes up the room for these. So that part I haven't quite figured out how these are in here. It's the only downside so far, the only problem that I'm really seeing. But again, here we can see some empty spots. Again, these are for upgrades that we might be doing. Here are for the other races, not races, but so when you set it up, so if you're playing a 2-player game, you would then have the 4 of them out there, to line the board. It kind of goes down as you go. But you have those. You have your center of the galaxy. You have your blueprints for the ships, for these ships you can have, and for the center of the galaxy ship. And what's nice is they even made these staged, so you'll see these little chevrons here. So let's just know here it's the first chevron, so this is an easier version that you might fight, where then there's also but then there's also, say, a 2 and then a 3, so you can escalate the game, make it more difficult as you go on and get better. Then you have extra spots for your scoring cards, your trader, all those kind of things for those. And then in here they have for your worlds, because as you're building out your universe, you have the different levels that's going to go around your center of the galaxy, and these all fit in here nice. And once again, you can see where I have lots of extra room, so as I add content from those expansions that they've done, there is room in here to add all of that in here. That is absolutely fantastic. So when it comes to the storage for this game, the build for this game, the components, the quality, this game is top notch. It really is one of the absolute best that I have found, even to the point where again, these trays you'll notice here with this bottom, you'll see these little ups, the cutouts right here, and that's even so when these guys go in here, they kind of lock into this place. They're not going anywhere. Again, it's just those little things that they have thought of to really keep everything. See here, everything is getting locked into place. And then these, with the way that they've done, so they kind of sit in on top of each other and they lock into place. Everything is just built so smartly, with the player in mind. So when you start this game, it's very easy. You just open the box, you pull out, your races, you pull everything out, you set it on the table. It's very easy setup because of all the work they put into the trays and the components and the quality of everything. It is absolutely fantastic. And before we get into the actual gameplay and how the game plays out and all of that, I thought we would look at the rulebook real quick and talk about this, because the rulebook is written very well. The only thing that this rulebook doesn't have that I wish it did was an index to tell you to go to the different pages for different mechanics. But on the back we have a really nice reference sheet, and these right here is actually part of there was a Kickstarter upgrade, so it's in with my upgrade stuff, but if you don't have that, you still have this nice reference just on the back of the rule book. Then they have all of the upgrades, all of the research that you're going to do. talking about what they are. They have a whole section here on frequently asked questions. They have all of the different races, and they're giving a little lore on them and telling about their specific stats, because that is one of the very unique things about this game. Or not unique, but the great things about this game that adds a lot of replay value is that all of these races are different. So they add that, and they all play a little different. So that is fantastic. The rule book, the print is a little small but manageable, but it is laid out extremely nice. We have a great visual representation of all of our components. So even though we have that sheet that came within the box that showed where everything was and where everything went, they even went to put it into the rule book here, and they show how everything's laid out. They go to the game setup. Everything is written in here. They have the little numbers everywhere that correlate to the pictures, so you can always reference and go back to what they're talking about. Just within the rulebook itself. I mean, it is a fairly long rulebook, but when you're talking about a 4X game, there's usually a lot going on, and this does have a lot that you can do, but it's complex in its simplicity, I guess, where there's a lot you can do, but the way they have everything laid out, you really don't need this rule book all that much, because with the way that they have this laid out, and with the way that they have your turn cards, and with all of these little cheat sheet cards that you're going to have, and all the stuff that you're going to have with you, you can almost really just break this game out, go to the set up your game you want, see, and then just kind of, see what the rules, you can almost just go and just start playing. The way they've done everything is absolutely fantastic. Love the rule book, love the way it's written, love the layout. It's very easy to digest, to get through, very easy to then go back if you need to look something up, get an idea of what something was. Very easy to reference something. So like I said, the only thing that I'm wishing was in here was an index in the back to be able to take you to a page number, but with the way everything else is done up, I definitely can forgive them for that. So when talking about the gaming mechanics, I thought we would start off with the races. Now, there are 9 to 16 races, depending on how you look at it, where there are 8 different alien races, and each alien race on its opposite side has a Terran race. And all of the Terran races are the exact same in stats and how they're laid out. So you can kind of see the Terrans as one race, but you can have up to 8, or just the 8 different varieties. So that's why I said, so there's 9 to 16 depending on how you look at it. And within here, within the starting grid, every single one of these races are different. But again, how they have everything laid out here, it is extremely smart, where they tell you what your starting resources are. They tell you what your starting world is. They tell you, when you're playing around, you have actions that you can do. And each race is going to be slightly different, where any race can, do an explore, an upgrade, a move action, but some of them are going to be slightly different. Where here you'll see this Planta, when they explore, they get to, with this one explore action, they actually get to do 2 explorations, where most of them you can see are just ones. Where over here, when these guys upgrade, they actually get to do 3, or if they build, they actually get to do 3 builds for that one action. Then here, as you're moving down the track, as you're doing your different things, you're taking your chips. As you're setting everything up, let me pull these out. So you're starting the game because you're putting these little chips on here and across the board. So then as you're doing things, you'll be moving these out, and you'll be putting these on for your turns as you're going through. So then once the round is over, depending on where you're at, okay, for my upkeep now for where I'm at is a 3. Again, very smart, very simple the way that they've done that to really help you know where you're at, what you're going to be doing. And again, so even when you have everything laid out, they even have the numbers up here. So you can always see, all right, well, if I take this one, what is it going to put me to? Okay, it's going to be a, 2, 3. Well, here it jumps up to 5, so forth and so on. And so it really makes it a whole lot easier. Then they have, your technology. So as you're moving it along, and again, everything is very smart with the way that they have done stuff, where as you start expanding your technology, things might be getting a little cheaper, and they have put all of those on here. As you expand out, you're going to be earning victory points towards the end of the game, where if you go the entire way, you'll get the 5. Now, one of the things that they have done, for what I understand here with the second edition, is they have changed it to an 8-round game, where it used to be a 9-round game. And what he had found was some of the upgrades that they had done, it made it a little easier, and where he never really planned for people to really clear the board to get the full 15 here. So by changing it, lowering it to 1 less round from 9 to 8, it just makes that a little more difficult to go full out, where really you have to think about what you're upgrading, where you're going to try to go. The ships are going to be different for the different races, but even in here, speaking of these ships, is one of the best aspects of the game, because you're doing so much to research things and then to upgrade them to where you will get different types of weapons or hull values or speeds or whatever it is that you're doing, and you can upgrade your ships. And you'll see here, like, here's an empty spot you can put something in, or at any point you can replace one. So if you were to get maybe an upgraded hull, so instead of being a 1 you got a 2, you can place it over here. So then all of your dreadnoughts, you've changed your blueprints for the dreadnought, so all dreadnoughts from here on out have that upgrade. So it again makes the replay value so much better, because there's just so much you can do, where you can in one game you can try out one thing, in another game you can try out something else, or based on what your opponents are doing, you can see, oh well, he's doing this, so now I realize I need to change my ships to fit his style, and you can do that. You can upgrade your different ones. I absolutely love that, and the way that they have everything laid out, it really does make it easy for you to do that. One of the other things here are all these cubes. Now when you're setting up your board, you will be putting in these cubes all along here. Oops, dropped one. And of course you'll be putting them all around, for everywhere except the first. But as you are playing, what you're going to see is now it is very easy for you to know where you sit, because here at the very beginning, if this is where my board was, and of course we'd assume that all the rest were filled, I could see where I'm going to be getting 2 gold, 2 science, and 2 production. But if I move one of these and place it on place it into the game, now I can see, well, at the end of the turn I'm actually going to get 3 resource now. So the way that they have designed this and the way that they have set everything up makes managing your resources very easy, very, very manageable. Which is always one of the more difficult aspects of these 4X games, knowing where you're at in the resources and keeping track of everything. Well, these gaming components that they have done, and just the design of this game, makes managing those resources extremely easy, and that is one of the really nice things about this game. As you're playing, as you're going from round to round, you will always know where you're at, what you're going to get. So that is one of the absolute fantastic things about this. Now here I kind of wanted to try to give a general overview of what a 2-player game might start to look like. Now, of course, I went ahead and set this up. The board will never actually look like this. Again, I just wanted to give you an idea of, you know, what things might be placed out, because all of these level 1s, 2s, and then the 3s are going to be on the table. So when you go to explore, if you're here within the inner ring, this level 1 ring, you will draw from the 1 pack. If you're here in this outer ring, you'll draw from the 2s. If you're, you know, anywhere else outside of that, you're going to draw from the 3. And then you'll either discard that tile and your turn is over, or you will orientate it how you want. Again, here is for a 2-player game where we have our 2 alien races, and then here we have the other 4 guardians. But again, if we were to do a 3, 4, 5, 6 player, these would just get replaced with different alien races, and that's how it would go on. But this is, you know, just a general overview of what things might look like. Again, where I have some of the trays out, some you can kind of see, get an idea. Like most 4X games, the footprint is fairly large for this game, but when you're considering it with a group of 4 players, it's a little kind of understandable that you are going to need a larger play space, because each player, these player mats are actually quite large. You do need a good bit of room for that. So your tabletop real estate, you do need a good bit of room to play that. Might be one of the few downsides to playing this game, but with how everything is done up, how everything is laid out, it is very easy to play. And then here we can go, let me grab a couple of these real quick. Kind of what I was talking about here, when you're managing your resources and you're taking the resources off, you'll see, here's an example of where you'll be putting these kind of resources down. So once again, here you'd be putting one of your browns, one of your golds, one of your production, one of your gold resource. So as you're taking them off of here and placing them, now I know that since I've colonized this, where I'm at, and so okay, so now I'm earning 6 production or whatever it is that you're at. Again, because of the way that they've done that, the way that they've designed everything, it is very easy, very intuitive, very easy to keep track of what you're doing, where you're at in the game. So the in-between turns, your turn management is very easy within this game. For the end of every turn, for managing your resources, for calculating where you're at, and so forth and so on. Again, with 4X games, there's sometimes a lot of calculation, a lot of things you have to do. Here, with the way they've done it, you just go straight from turn to turn to turn, and the managing of everything is done very neat, very easily. Where some of them you might have to have like an app to help you out. Here, with the way that the components are all made, with everything, how it's all laid out, you don't need any of that kind of stuff. The components themselves, the style, the system, the way it's played helps manage that for you. That is one of the absolute fantastic things about this, which really helps. So finally, is this game any fun? It doesn't matter how great your components are, how well it is laid out, how much thought they put in to managing of the resources. If it's not a fun game, none of that matters. And thankfully, this is a lot of fun, especially if you are a fan of that 4X type play. This is probably as close to the computerized Civilization, build that I have found in a board game, because of the way that they have designed all of the components, the way that everything works together so easily, that it's always telling you where you're at, just like, in a computer game, you're always seeing where you're sitting at by placing things on here. It does a great job of doing that. And there is just so many options here, so many different ways, so many different alien races you can pick, so many different ways to customize all your different things, so many different ways that you can see what your opponents are doing and adjust your strategy to fit. It is an absolute blast to play, and every time you play, it's going to be a different game based on the worlds that come out, the technologies that come out, because the way that they do it is each round you're going to pull technologies out of the bag and you're going to seed the world's knowledge, the universe's knowledge, that the universe has now learned of this technology, so now you can research it and get it for yourself. Well, every time you play, different technologies are going to come out. Then once somebody has it, unless two of those have come out, once you say the advanced hull is out, well, if your opponent gets that before you do, you might have to wait now for another one to come out before you can do it. So it's a whole lot of fun. There's a whole lot of great timing going on to figure out when you might want to do things, what you want to do, managing your resource, managing your expenses, but again, being able to see where you sit on your game boards and always know where you stand is absolutely fantastic. So yes, this is a great deal of fun. Well, I hope this review for Eclipse Second Dawn of the Galaxy has helped you to determine if this game is something you would be interested in getting or looking into for yourself. Now, here within my copy and in for this review, I have just the base game. I do have all of the expansions that came with my Kickstarter edition, and as I pointed out, it does look like everything will fit in here nicely, but I wanted to leave it, base review, base core for this, review for this initial review, and for my initial, setup videos and playthrough videos and all that kind of stuff. And then as I start adding in the expansions, I'll then be able to come back and say, all right, well, once you add in this expansion, it does this and it adds that, and this is how you're going to incorporate so forth and so on into the game. So as far as the core goes, just this base game goes, again, I hope this review has helped you to see what you'd be getting, what to expect, how it's all laid out, and again, to help you determine if this is something you would be interested in, because there's no reason to waste money on a game that you don't know nothing about, that might not be for you. Well, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.